Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Prego Expo's feeding segment called Developmental Milestones, Infancy through Toddlerhood. My name is Dawn Winkleman. I am a speech-language pathologist and pediatric feeding specialist for ezpz. Today, we're going to talk about eating and drinking and feeding and swallowing milestones for your baby and your toddler, and a few tips to help you if you have a picky eater. So I'll answer some of your questions as I'm going through the presentation. Our COO, her name is Tamara, will also be adding questions and answering them into the chat. So if you see the chat there on the side, she'll start answering some questions there too. And you want to stay till the end because we're doing a giveaway of our first food set, which I'm going to tell you all about here in a little bit. So we'll have a Q&A at the very end. We'll have a giveaway at the very end of the presentation. And if for some reason we don't get to all of your questions, I will come back in after the presentation and answer any questions that you guys have that I might have missed. So let's go ahead and get started. I see everyone saying hello and good morning. Thank you so much. It's so great to have all of you here. I am going to, again, talk about some of our products and these milestones that are so important. Now, most parents and even pediatricians are aware of gross motor milestones, but they're not aware of oral motor milestones, swallowing milestones, feeding, drinking. All of these are developmental milestones that your baby has to achieve or your toddler has to achieve in order to have good speech, good language, good play skills, good social skills. Feeding is that precursor for all of those skill sets. And ezpz products are designed specifically to help your baby and toddler meet all of those critical milestones. So let's get started with our first swallowing milestones. Now for babies, there is 1 cup milestone, just one, and it's not a sippy cup. It's an open cup. Sippy cups actually delay feeding and speech and actually sabotage solids. Let me explain. So I have a couple of sippy cups here. I'm going to cover over some of the logos, but you can see all of the teeth scratches here, and you can see that tongue scratches here. I've actually taken these sippy cups away from the clients that I work with. What happens when you use a sippy cup is that you suckle. Your tongue goes in and out of your mouth, and that's not the way that we actually want our babies to swallow. That is a great swallow from birth to about 6 months of age. At 6 months of age, we want babies to have a mature swallow pattern. And what that looks like is this. If everyone can just swallow your saliva for me, you feel your tongue go up to the roof of your mouth. That's a mature swallow. That tongue needs to go up to the roof. So if you're sucking from a sippy cup, your tongue is going in and out. And if you're getting ready to start solids, you don't want that tongue going in and out because it's going to push all of the food out. So that's why I say sippy cups sabotage solids. So we want to make sure that we are skipping that sippy cup and actually going to an open cup. And the developmental milestone for babies is babies should drink and swallow from an open cup held by an adult at 6 months of age. So let me introduce you to the ezpz tiny cup. So the tiny cup is this cup that's going to actually help you make this milestone with your baby. I designed this cup for babies to be able to learn how to drink from a cup held by an adult as well as drink from the cup independently. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your baby sitting in the high chair. You're going to hold the cup. You're going to put about 1/2 ounce of breast milk or formula into the cup. We don't want to offer babies water until around 10 months of age because we want babies to be able to get their primary nutrition from breast milk or formula and be able to make sure that the baby's tummy isn't being filled up with water, as well as thin liquids like water are really hard for babies to swallow, and a lot of coughing and choking can occur. So using the breast milk or formula to be able to drink out of that. So you're going to hold that cup and you're going to offer that to your baby. And people always say, oh my gosh, what about spills? Well, when you first are teaching about open cup drinking, you are in control of the cup. So the adult is holding the cup the whole entire time. Now, as you practice this, you should practice 5 minutes a day while you're doing a meal. So you can either practice before a meal, during the meal, or after the meal, depending upon how you and your baby are interacting. If you're doing 1 meal a day, then you're practicing with your tiny cup 1 meal a day. If you're doing 2 meals a day, you're practicing twice. 3 meals a day, you're practicing another time. So you're going to practice 5 minutes at every single meal. And then eventually your baby is going to grab on to the tiny cup and want to start drinking on their own. And that actually is developmental too. It's going to be a little messy, but it's developmental because babies should be able to drink from an open cup with some spillage by 12 months of age. So again, 6 months of age, you're starting to help your baby holding the cup and allowing baby to learn how to drink from the cup. And by 12 months of age, we want baby to be drinking from the cup. Now I'm seeing in the comments, everybody's like, what with the tiny cup? It's so important to be able to do that, right? So breast milk or formula, so important to be able to offer your baby a little bit thicker of a liquid that's going to actually go down their throat really easy, help them with their swallow development, and really allow them to get their nutritional needs and still be able to make this milestone. All of our colors are here. Let me go through them with you. Lime gray, blue, coral blush, sage pewter. And then we also have 2 colors over here, sienna and indigo, which I'll tell you guys a little bit more about as well. Now, you're going to do this 5 minutes a day, practicing with an open cup, again, trying to get to that milestone of 12 months of age. And you want to tackle cup drinking with your baby early so that they can make these milestones before their first birthday. So by 6 months, the developmental milestone, again, drinking from an open cup held by you. And then by 12 months, drinking from an open cup independently. And the tiny cup helps your baby be able to do just that, make those milestones. Now, we also have spoon feeding milestones. So let me show you a little bit about our tiny spoons. I'm going to get that a little closer. The tiny spoon helps babies obtain 5 different spoon skills. So with an open cup, for babies, there's only 1 developmental milestone to learn how to drink from an open cup. By 12 months, which is toddlerhood, they have to be able to drink by themselves. With the spoon, there's 5 spoon feeding milestones that are so critical. This is a baby-led spoon, and the reason why I designed it to be baby-led is because anything that's long, a long-handled spoon, or if we are putting food into the mouth or a spoon into the mouth, that can increase the risk of choking. Now, we all want to avoid choking, but let me show you a little bit of the difference. Again, cover this is an adult held spoon and this is a baby held spoon. So you can see the difference. This is an adult spoon to feed a baby, and this is a baby spoon to be able to feed themselves. And why this is so important and why you want to choose a baby-led spoon over a long-handled spoon is because of the fact that your baby needs to make these 5 spoon feeding milestones. They are going to work on a hand-eye coordination. They're going to work on feeding movements to the mouth. They're going to work on developmental skills like the oral motor skills to be able to actually learn how to suck and swallow. They're going to need to experience different textures of foods, from a thin puree to a thick puree to a lumpy puree to more solid foods like a smashed up blueberry on here. So we really want them to be able to obtain that. And it comes in a 2-pack. So there'll be 2 spoons in the pack. Now I get asked all the time why there's only 2 spoons in the pack and not a spoon and a fork. And the rationale behind that, again, we are a developmental line company, is that babies are not supposed to use a fork. They're developmentally not safe to use a fork. Can some babies use a fork? Absolutely. But it's not developmental. We're not expecting that developmental skill. We need for baby to make their 5 spoon feeding milestones and not really focus on a fork. Those spoon feeding milestones will help them when you start to utilize a fork at 12 months of age to actually make that developmental skill. But it's not for our baby 6 to 12 months. So it comes in a pack of 2. I'm seeing some questions here. Which set do you recommend starting? It's this tiny set. So the tiny cup, the tiny spoons, and I'm going to talk about the tiny bowl here in a little bit. So we want to be able to have baby-led spoons like the ezpz tiny spoon for babies to actually hold. Another reason why it comes in a 2-pack is that if your baby's going to eventually drop one, you have a second one to be able to help scoop. Now let's talk about some of the 5 spoon feeding milestones. Now, the first milestone is babies are supposed to play with the milestone and play with the spoon. And so they're going to bang it. They're going to play with it at their tray table. And it's going to be very annoying. You're going to say, oh, Miss Dawn, all that they're doing is just playing with the spoon. That is key. They need to be able to play with an object first before they're able to utilize how to use that object. So if you see your baby banging it and being very annoying, please know that it is really important for your baby to do this. Now, we're going to wait to start solids till 6 months of age because the American Academy of Pediatrics and the World Health Organization recommend parents waiting to start solids until 6 months of age. But I have families that maybe have a pediatrician that hasn't heard the new regulations and don't know that they're not supposed to start at 6 months, and maybe they're recommending starting at 4 months. So this is what I'll have you do for those of you who want to start at 4 months. Have your baby sit in a high chair and start mouthing and playing with the spoon with no food. Just being able to utilize some of these spoon milestones to be able to make sure that your baby is ready when you start solids at 6 months. So the first skill, play. Second skill, mouth. Baby is supposed to mouth the spoon and even mouth the handle too. You'll see us on our social media at ezpz fun is our social media account. You'll see us, highlighting reels of babies like eating and mouthing the handle. That is a very important skill. It is completely normal, so you don't have to take the spoon out of your baby's mouth. We want them to be able to mouth and explore the entirety of the spoon, and that goes for the cup too. It's really important for babies to feel comfortable to be able to mouth it, and that is a developmental skill. Then the third thing is they're supposed to hold the spoon and bring the spoon to their mouth. So at 6 months of age, they should be able to do that. So what you can do is preload the spoon. Now, I cued this term and started speaking about this term about 10 years ago. And now preloading a spoon is a term that we all use for feeding, which is really exciting. And how you do that is you take the food that you're offering the baby and you're scooping that up and you're handing the spoon to your baby. You're not feeding your baby, you're handing them. And I like to usually hand it handle side first. Sometimes you can hand it this way, depending upon how your baby feels. Or you can scoop up the food and lay it there on the side. And so that all your baby has to do is pick up the food. So that is holding. So we've got number 1, play, number 2, mouth, number 3, hold, number 4, dip. At 9 months of age, your baby is going to start holding onto that spoon and dipping the spoon. And I've seen some 6-month-olds master this, but I'm really not expecting it till 9 months. And then between 11 and 18 months, they're going to start to scoop with the spoon. And so they need to be able to have all of these developmental skills in order to be able to feed themselves independently. So at first, you're going to start to preload that spoon, and then you're going to watch your baby start to be able to dip and feed themselves, which is so exciting. And the tiny spoon will actually help your baby reach these early self-feeding milestones. You're also going to see on the spoon, we've got some sensory bumps here, which is really important. I didn't mention that earlier with the tiny cup as well. We have sensory bumps here that actually hold. This flexes because it's 100% food grade silicone. The spoon also flexes, so it makes it really easy for the tender gums as compared to using plastic products or using metal products. This is really going to be gentle to the face and to the mouth. And then the raised rim on the spoon is really important too. The raised rim and the sensory bumps is actually going to help your baby learn how far to put that spoon in their mouth. You've seen some products out there that have what's called a choking guard, and they it's a plastic guard that actually is around the spoon. The problem with that is that it can actually knock your baby's front teeth out because it's hard plastic, and it stops your baby from learning how far they need to put that spoon into their mouth. That is called grading. Babies need to learn how to grade, and they need to learn how to grade with a spoon, because if they don't, then once they reach to a fork, they're going to stick the fork back into their mouth and really hurt themselves. So your baby needs to not have a guard on there and be able to utilize that movement and learn how to be able to put the foods back. It's really important to not have a guard there, because not only are they learning how far to put a spoon far back into their mouth, they're going to learn how far to put a piece of food back into their mouth. Now, we want babies to not have that guard in order to learn how far to put that food back, so we can really work on moving that gag reflex back. If baby doesn't have that opportunity, then they're going to continue to gag and gag and gag, which can really cause picky eating in the future. So let's see, we've got a whole bunch of questions going on. It's so amazing for all of you to be here and ask those questions. 5 scoop spoons. Yes, 5 feeding milestones for that. And I'm glad that you guys are finding all this information helpful. Really good. I'm going to have a Q&A at the end too and answer even more of your questions. All right, so next up is our tiny bowl. So now our tiny bowl, this is our color pewter, is for offering those first single ingredients. When you start solids, you're going to offer some foods one at a time. So let's say you're going to put some avocado in here and have a meal with your baby. Then the next time you're going to put some sweet potato in here and have a meal with your baby. And then maybe you're going to put a slice of avocado and sweet potato. You're going to start to offer first foods. It's really a great bowl for that. It also fits on all high chairs, including Space Saver models, because it's so tiny in size. It's 5 ounces, so you always know how much your baby eats. And best of all, it suctions to the table. In fact, all of our bowls and plates suction to the table, so that's really nice. And you can help your baby reach those spoon feeding milestones by angling it onto the bowl, but also your baby is supposed to start obtaining finger feeding milestones. So they're going to start grabbing with their whole hand and putting the food into their mouth. And then eventually between 9 and 10 months of age, they're going to start using a pincer grasp, which is the thumb and index finger starting to pick up foods. So it's really important to be able to have a bowl that suctions to your high chair tray. And now why you want to do that is that if you have babies eat out of the high chair tray, what happens is that if you just put foods on the high chair tray, the baby is going to actually do what's called this windshield wiper. I call it windshield wiper motion. So the foods are going to fly out. And also your baby is going to start to recognize and see that everyone else at the table has bowls and they don't. So what's going to happen is they're going to try to get out of their high chair or refuse to get into their high chair. And then mealtime is going to be really a battleground. So you want to have a bowl onto your high chair tray because everyone else has a bowl and spoons and cups, and you want your baby to feel like they're part of the process. If not, they're going to try to get out of the high chair tray or try to reach for your food and not really want to eat what's in front of them. So offering that bowl is key. Now, I want to show you something that's really important when you're trying to add stuff to your registry. You can buy these separately. And so you can buy the tiny bowl separately, the tiny cup, and the tiny spoon separately. If you buy the tiny bowl separately, it comes in this wet bag. All you do is take out the insert that tells you that you're doing a great job. And then you can put in the tiny bowl that fits in here, the tiny cup, and the tiny spoons, and they all fit into this wet bag, and it can go into your diaper bag really easily. So that's one way that you can utilize the tiny line for infants. Now you can also get it in what we call the first food set. So this is a beautiful set that includes the tiny spoons, tiny cup, and tiny bowl. It has all the information that I just told you about on the back of this. This is a wonderful gift idea, also a wonderful way to be able to add something really chic to your registries. Let me see. It's beautiful colors. So that is the sienna and indigo, and they're just gorgeous. And that is a short time color line that we have going on. The rest of it is our core line as well as our Nordic line. So you can either get it with the wet bag or you can get it in the gift set. Okay, so moving right along. Now we are going from our infant collection, which is our tiny collection, and talking about our mini collection, which is our collection for toddlers. So we are now going into our mini cup. So the mini cup is 4 ounces as compared to the tiny cup, which is 2 ounces. It's really important for your baby to actually make that second open cup milestone, which is baby drinking from an open cup by themselves. They need to do that with the tiny cup before you transition to the mini cup. And you can also see the size difference. Now, we don't want to use the mini cup with babies because it's going to be too big and cover their nose and mouth, and we really want them to be able to breathe when they're trying to drink. So you want to start off with a tiny cup that is smaller in size, smaller in ounces. Again, this is developmental. This is a 2-ounce cup, so your baby's going to be drinking about 1 ounce at the meals. And then this is a 4-ounce cup, and toddlers should be having no more than 4 ounces of drink at the mealtime, because we want them to be able to have a variety of foods and have less liquids in order to decrease picky eating. So there's a size difference for you. Again, they're going to look and feel really well. They're weighted to be able to help kids learn how to drink on their own. And of course, again, it's made out of silicone and has that flexible edge to make it really easy for toddlers who are also teething. So this is really important as compared to a 360 cup. So 360 type of cups, what they do, again, I'm going to cover this logo, is that they make your child use their teeth and extend their jaw. And that is not the way that we drink. So I work with kids that actually have recessed jaws because of the use of the overuse of using a 360 cup, and then they're not able to learn how to drink successfully. So they try to bite the edges of an open cup and trying to drink that way. That is not the way that we drink. That is not the way for a mature swallow. It can impede development and cause feeding delays and picky eating. So you want to try to avoid 360 cups and use an open cup, because that is the developmental milestone for 12 months old. Again, 6 months of age, drink from an open cup held by you. 12 months of age, drink from an open cup with some spillage. And then by 24 months of age, your child should be able to drink from an open cup with no spillage. So we can't just wake up on our second birthday and expect a child to drink from an open cup with no spillage. We have to be able to make these other milestones and help your toddler get there. And that is how the mini cup will actually help your toddler obtain that drinking milestone. All right, I'm seeing so many comments here. Wow, this is great. I'm adding this to my my registry. I'm so excited that you guys are learning so much. Now, I wish I would have had a little drum here. We are getting ready for our big reveal. We had a product launched today, and we're so excited to tell you about it. So, introducing the mini cup and straw training system. Look how gorgeous this is. So this is the mini straw and cup in blush and in pewter. And oh my God, they're so gorgeous. So this is going to teach older babies and toddlers how to safely use a straw. Now, it's really important for all of our babies and toddlers to make their developmental milestones. Now, we just talked about open cup milestones. There's also straw milestones. So it's really important for your child, your toddler at 12 months of age, to be able to drink from a straw. Now, I know some little ones can master a straw early, but again, we're not expecting that milestone to actually occur until 12 months of age. So this is so important for, I know people are like, it's adorable, it's so great. Oh, I know, it's so beautiful. So let me tell you about the different designs here. So what makes our straw different than every straw on the market, again, is the straw. So we have the straw that is angled. So it's angled to, again, to keep the baby's head focused and keep them at midline. And then we also have sensory bumps on the straw. What happens is that a lot of the children that I work with will actually put a whole bunch of the straw into their mouth. What that does is it does a suckle, just like they're drinking from a sippy cup. So children don't know how far they're supposed to put their mouth over a straw. So we put sensory bumps here, and the rationale behind that is that there is research that shows that children should only put a small amount into their mouth. So I wanted to have textured bumps there to be able to show the child from a tactile standpoint, from a sensory standpoint, where their mouth needs to go and where it needs to stop. So once you're doing this with your child, you're going to make sure that their lips don't go too far and that you can tell them to put your lips on the bump, and then they're going to be able to put their lips on the bump and be able to drink from the straw really safely and successfully. Another thing that is a safety feature is that our straw is very short. What we have to do, if you can pretend to drink from a straw with me, so everyone do this with me. So pretend like you drink from a straw. See how you hold your breath? What happens is that when children drink from long straws, they have to hold their breath for a long period of time. And then eventually they have to take a breath. When they do that, the liquid goes down into their throat, causing choking and maybe even aspiration pneumonia. And then some kids will refuse to drink from a straw, and it makes it very difficult because most daycares will only allow straws and not open cups. So it's really important for them to learn how to successfully and safely drink from a straw. So a couple safety items, again, is the sensory bumps, the short length, and then also that it's made out of food grade silicone. So it's really important for children to be able to have that flexibility, again, because we're dealing with kids that are still teething. And then also we have that short little angle too, to be able to have that, them be able to keep their head in the right positioning. The lid is wonderful because it's got this dome lid to, again, help them resist from putting too much of the straw into their mouth. And then for a nice, easy sensory bump here for you to be able to take that off pretty easily and then snugly fit that back down. or sensory bumps on the bottom, and it's weighted to make sure that your children can actually bring that to their mouth very easily as well. Everyone's saying how awesome it is. It's so beautiful, right? But here's something else that's so amazing. It's a 3-part system. Losing my voice already. It's a 3-part system. 1, it's an open cup. So you're still going to be able to work on those open cup milestones. 2, it's a training straw. So when you're first starting off with your child, you're going to teach them really slowly how to be able to utilize the bumps. Once you see that your child doesn't really need the bumps anymore, you can go to a regular straw. All you have to do here, watch this, flip that straw over, and now you have a regular straw. So it's a 3-part training system: open cup, beginner straw training, advanced straw training. So now you have a straw without any bumps, and it works beautifully. So that is our big reveal. This is our mini cup and straw training system, again, to teach your baby how to be able to drink from a cup safely. And again, your toddler needs to be able to master this skill, and it's so important for us to do that. Everyone's saying, I love this, it's genius, that's awesome, it's a 3-in-1 training system. Yes, this is what I've always wanted to make as a feeding therapist, because it's always so difficult to teach children how to be able to drink from a straw successfully. And it's really hard for toddlers to be able to do that without a good sensory component to that. So it's really important. I'm so glad that you guys are loving it so much. And again, there's some tips. Now, if you forget what I just told you, again, this is our adorable packaging. All of the information is here. So it goes through all of the developmental drinking system that we just talked about, all the information that we just talked about. So if you want to give this as a gift and you want to buy a couple because it just launched today, I'm sure we're going to sell out. So make sure that you utilize that code PREGO20 to be able to get some of this for yourself and for others. And again, this is a swallowing milestone for your toddlers. They have to be able to make this milestone. So really key in onto straw drinking. Now we're going to move along to our other toddler products. Now we're going to move to our spoon and fork. So this is our mini spoon and mini fork. And just to show you the difference between that, here is the tiny spoon and then the mini spoon. So it's a bigger head. Now the heads are actually made of nylon, because before we wanted the flexibility of that silicone, but with toddlers, we need to have more food. They need to be able to scoop more foods, and then they need to be able to pierce. So we actually have to have some nylon here to be able to learn how to pierce. Again, we have the sensory bumps here for them to know how far to be able to put that spoon or fork back in. And we're the only company to have a motor planning technique for the tops of our utensils. So they are the exact same size. What happens is you see our competitors, the spoons are really big and the fork is small, or vice versa, and it makes it very difficult for children to kind of go in between the meal and switching from spoon to fork. So with ours, it's the exact same size, so it makes it really easy from a motor planning and a sensory perspective for your toddlers to be able to learn how to self-feed. And so again, it comes in a 2-pack for our infant line, because infants aren't supposed to use a fork, but with our toddler line, toddlers are supposed to use a fork. That is a feeding milestone. They should be able to scoop and they should be able to pierce on their own. So we have the mini utensil set. And again, all of these come in all of the different colors that I just talked about. Everyone's saying, Karen saying, love motor planning. Yes, you're welcome, Karen. All of you guys are saying this is so great. First time mom, you're learning so much. Thank you so much for saying that. You can go to ezpzfun.com. I write a blog there, gives you even more details and information about our products. Again, easy peasy. We try to educate parents, so feel free to follow us on all of our social media as well for more info. Okay, now we're moving on to the mini mat. So the mini mat is our 3-portion section dividing plate. What's really exciting about this is that if your child is using the whole hand grasp, this has been designed to work for that. So if this mat is in front of you and your baby is using your hand, they can usually pull off that food, but it's also great for being able to use the mini utensils for scooping, and the fork for piercing. So it makes it really easy for your children to be able to utilize that. You can get the same colors, or you can mix and match colors. So depending upon what you really want to do with that. So this is the mini mat. It offers 3 different foods. So it's a great reminder for you to feed your baby 3 different foods. And also is dishwasher safe. All of our products are dishwasher safe, microwave safe, and even oven safe as well. You can use the mini mat with older babies as well as toddlers, and it comes in a wet bag as well to be able to go for easy transfer to daycare or to maybe your mother-in-law's or to a restaurant. So that is the mini mat. The ounces are 2 ounces, 2 ounces, and 4 ounces, so you always know how much your baby ate. And then we also have let me put that there, the mini bowl. So the tiny bowl is 5 ounces. The mini bowl is 8. This is blush and this is sage. So you can see that a little bit clearer. And they all section to the table. Again, so important for our kids to be able to not chase that bowl or chase that plate. It's really important for them to be able to keep their head at midline to decrease choking and really improve swallowing. So that's what's so important. So the mini collection will help your toddler achieve all of these feeding and swallowing milestones that are so important to them for their development. And then we also have for our older kids, so we went for our infant line, which is the tiny line, our toddler line, which is the mini line, and now we're going to our little bigger kids line. And this is the Happy Bowl. This is 12 ounces. This is our color blue, and this is perfect for preschoolers and being able to utilize cereals, oatmeal, spaghetti, mac and cheese, making it really easy for them to be able to still have that suction function to help them keep their swallows safe and keep their head at midline, but have a bigger bowl. It's also wonderful for if you're doing movie night and having popcorn. It's a really wonderful way to just kind of have some on-the-go snacks, maybe trail mix, etc., while you're here for the holidays and being able to spend some time with your kids. And then this is our flagship product. This is a product that Lindsay Lorraine designed. This was the start of it. I see some of you saying that you've seen this on Shark Tank. This was that product. This is the Happy Mat, and this is the Happy Mat in pewter. It's really beautiful. And again, it's for a little bit older kids. So this is 4 ounces, 4 ounces, and 10 ounces. So again, we really pride ourselves on those developmental milestones of how much a child is supposed to eat from infancy to toddlerhood to a little bit older kids. So that is the Happy Mat. And then we have a book that actually goes with that too. This is called Making Mealtime Easy Peasy. I co-authored this book to actually help parents that have picky eaters to have some different ideas, to think outside of the box, to use our products to make mealtime masterpieces that are really, really simple. So in here we have all the information about the serving sizes that I just talked about, how much your child should be eating from fruits and vegetables, etc. We also have a whole bunch of different ideas and different ways to be able to make foods on here, and using the plate as a platform to be able to have that happy face and make something really cute and adorable. We also have tons of tips in here for feeding picky eaters. And then at the very back of the book, a whole bunch of ways that you can utilize some of these tools that I used to make the foods in here, which you can get at the 99-cent store. So this is also available on our website, ezpzfun.com. Now let's go into our character mats. So we have a contract with Sesame Street. Look how cute these are. This is our Elmo and Cookie Monster collection. This ends at the end of the year. So if you've been wanting one of these or you've been eyeing one of these, they're only going to be available for a couple more weeks. So this is the Elmo. This is the Cookie Monster. Put this in your cart because you definitely want to have some of these. They're so cute. And we know research shows that if kids are having fun at mealtime, they'll eat more and they'll explore more food. So if you have a child that is just obsessed with Elmo or Cookie Monster, bring Elmo or Cookie Monster to your mealtime and make that a little bit more fun for them. We also have Peppa Pig. So this is huge with some of my clients. They love Peppa Pig. They think that Peppa is just adorable. And what's so great about this too is that you can see so many different body parts, like the ears and the arms and the fingers and the chest. And I really talk a lot about body parts during mealtime using this product. So this is super fun. You can help your kids explore different dips and make food just really exciting for them. So that is our Peppa Pig mat. Everyone's saying, I love it. I love the Elmo, so creative. Thank you so much. We are really pride ourselves on those types of creativity. Then we also have sensory play mats. So this is our sensory play mat. It's called the play mat. You can put an 8x11 piece of paper here, and the ridge will hold that piece of paper. So you can have a piece of paper, you put water and then paints in here and have a really nice surface area for your kids to actually do some crafting without spilling all over the table. Of course, these are dishwasher safe as well, and they fold really easily and go into your diaper bag if you need to take some Legos or some beading or something to keep your kids occupied when you take off for the holidays. So this is wonderful. This is the playmat in lemon. And then this is the playmat in mint. So wonderful color for the upcoming Christmas holidays too. So if you're looking to buy some gifts, this is a great one. And then we have a mini version that actually comes in a travel wet bag as well. So it's just the flower part. And again, you can use it for paints and crafts and beadings and Legos, but you can also use it for food. So you can put some yogurt and a whole bunch of fruit in here, or some ranch dressing with a whole bunch of veggies to make a picky eater feel like they have some variety. So maybe you're putting ranch and putting 3 of their favorite foods in here, and then maybe 2 new foods in here to help them want to encourage them to actually try dipping. Now, dipping is a developmental milestone. They need to be able to do that with their utensils, with their spoons, but they also need to be able to do that with their fingers. Again, working on that pincer grasp. I also put a lot of pom-poms and different fun manipulatives in here and help those kids work on those fine motor skills. So, woo! That is a quick lineup of all of our products. I hope that you loved hearing about these. We have a giveaway coming up. We have a Q&A coming up, so don't leave. And I have a few more things that I want to talk about, but I definitely want to get to some of these questions. If a question that you typed up and I didn't see, I'm going to start really scrolling through and trying to answer all those questions in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But what I really want you to do right now is please type in the word yes, Y-E-S, type in the word yes if you learned something new about how to feed your baby or how to feed your toddler. Again, we pride ourselves on educating parents. So type in the comments yes if you learned something new. And if you want more feeding tips, follow us at ezpz fun on social media or at Miss Dawn SLP to get some more tips and information about that too. And then remember, 20% on our website. The code is PREGO20 and it expires November 2nd. So be sure that you purchase before then. And I see everybody typing, yes, 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 yes. Great. I'm so excited to hear that. Now, before we head into the giveaway, I want to start in the Q&A. But before I do that, I want to remind you that teaching these feeding milestones to your infants and your toddlers takes patience and practice and repetition, just like everything else in parenting. You can do this. And if you are having some struggles along the way, we're here to help you as well. So thank you so much for listening to my speech. Now I'm going to go through and ask some questions. If I didn't answer your question before, just copy it and throw it back in to the comment section and I'll answer them. Okay. Going through. I love seeing all these yeses, you guys. Thank you so very much. Okay, so Mackenzie says, I love these. I might have to try to include something like this for my 4-year-old. Yes, 4 years of age is still perfect for our products. We really go from like 4 months of age to about 8 years of age. So you're still at that really great age range to be able to offer some new foods, try to decrease some of those picky eating habits, have the products suction to the table. I've worked with the kids in feeding therapy that literally introducing one of our products that kept their head at midline decreased the amount of coughing and choking that they did. And they really didn't need feeding therapy. They just kind of needed to have a plate or a bowl that just didn't move around and kept them in a safer position. And then it decreased all their picky eating tendencies. So it could be that easy, and which sounds wild, right? But you never hear about that as a picky eating dip. Let's see. Could you talk more about the developmental milestones for the cup? Absolutely. So when you're drinking from an open cup, you want to be able, when you're teaching your baby how to drink from an open cup, you want to hold onto the cup, so decrease spills. And then if your baby is starting to drink, you can flex this in their mouth too, to be able to help them. You can actually help use one of your fingers, I call it a gun finger, to actually help lift that up for them. And remember, you can put breast milk formula purees. So it's important for your baby to have a variety of textures. You can put purees into the cup so that they can drink some of that. It kind of feels like drinking a milkshake. So it's really important to kind of change that up. You can add in some bone broth and other things that, anything that you want to offer your baby, you can do that from an open cup. And then around 12 months of age, you're going to transition to the mini cup or mini straw cup and be able to continue to work on those open cup milestones as well as the straw milestones. Let's see. Some of you are asking about different shapes of the plates, and these are all of our shapes. There are a lot of knockoffs, unfortunately, out there. We were the original designer of suction mats. And so there's a lot of knockoffs out there. And a lot of those knockoffs, I just wanted to remind you, are not food grade silicone. So they're not really safe for your children. So just look at the products and do your research when you're looking for that. The package on the back, is there only a cup in there, not a lid and straw included? So Rosa's asking, so this is our first food set. This is for infants. So there's no straw included because this is our tiny line. If you were talking about the packaging here, this is our toddler line, the mini cup. Yes, so we've got the cup, the lid, and the straw in there too, with all the information about that as well, Rosa. So let me know if I answered that for you. Chelsea says, I have a friend with a child who has a cleft palate lip. Do you all have any tips anywhere in specific line for children with cleft lips and palates? Yes, I do have one blog on that. And then tomorrow I'm speaking at another event talking about that on my Instagram feed. So you can have your friend check that out as well. And I'm so glad. With the cleft lip and palate, they can actually use all of our products because you can use the flexibility, especially when they decide when they're going to have the surgery. They usually are going to transition to a straw cup or an open cup during that time. And so this will be a really wonderful way for them to be able to explore that too. So thank you, Chelsea, for being a great friend for that, because that is a very serious and complicated surgery. So thank you. Peppa Pig, lots of questions about Peppa Pig. I'm so glad that you guys like that. So again, this is a limited edition. So if you have a child that loves Peppa Pig, especially for the holidays, the Sesame Street line and the Peppa Pig line are wonderful holiday gifts too. So that's so great. Do you have 2 different colors for the play mat to differentiate between toys and food? So no. What's really important, Sabrina, and why we wanted to have the playmat look so different is that I'm constantly telling families to encourage kids, especially if they're picky, to play with their foods. But that's why we wanted this to look very different from the rest of our products, because we don't want you to have your mother-in-law over for Thanksgiving and your kids just starts playing in it, right? We want something that looked very different than a plate or a bowl for your kids to be able to have that time to explore that sensory play. So that's why this looks very different. We just have 2 different colors because we are all about color changing, right? Okay, we have just a few more minutes and then we're going to go into the giveaway here in a second. I'm so happy to see all of you writing yes. My goodness, you have so many wonderful products. I wish I knew about all your stuff. Well, thank you so much, Teresa. I really appreciate that so much. Did you say where we can get the new cups with the straws? Yes, they're only on our website right now. We literally launched it today. So go to ezpz.com to be able to get yours. And I know we're going to sell out. So grab, if you want some for gifts too for the holidays, snag a whole bunch and share this fun training system. Again, there's nothing else out there like this. This is a wonderful way to be able to, again, have your child learn to drink from an open cup, drink from a straw, and do that all safely. So super excited about this launch. Okay. Question about the fork. More about, oh, so basically one of the reasons why we don't have the fork included with the tiny line is because babies are not really safe to be able to do that. I contract my feeding services with the School for the Blind, and there's a couple of kids in there that have had damage to their eyes from using a fork too early. We're really expecting that skill to happen in toddlerhood, not in infancy. And again, it is, I mean, they're sharp, but it is dangerous for babies. So that's why. Let's see. Any suggestions on how to get daycares to use an open cup or straw cup? So I work really closely with a lot of daycares with the families that I serve. And the biggest thing for the daycares is they're afraid of spills, right? That's the whole thing. If you actually show video of your child drinking from Tiny Cup, and if you need them to see footage, you can go to our Instagram page. We have tons of videos of kids drinking from the Tiny Cup, and show them that they have the skill, 2, that they're not choking, 3, that they are, not making too much of a mess either. And then also asking them, say, hey, we're working on this developmental skill. Did you know that a baby is supposed to drink from an open cup at 6 months of age, and then drink with just a little bit of spillage independently by 12 months? You're actually going to be teaching them something that I guarantee you that they don't know. And then say, would you mind doing this 5 minutes a day with my child? That has gone a long way with me working with daycares. And then with the straw cup too, they usually will allow straw cups. So you can introduce that and kind of show them how it works and how the training system works as well, and give them a little bit of education there too. Now I'm going to ask Tamara, our COO, to pick a giveaway winner right now. We only have 5 minutes left. And so I want her to be able to type in the comments, and we're giving away a tiny first food set. So again, this is the tiny spoons, the tiny cup, and the tiny bowl. Everything you need to start solids off right. And so we're giving one away. So I'll have Tamara pick the winner here in the comment sections right now. And I'm still going to answer a couple more questions before we go. Let's see. Will the packaging or insert tell me when to start and end each product? So on our packaging, we talk about what age that we expect those behaviors to happen. And so with this one, this is actually starting at 4 months of age, because we want you to be able to actually play with the products without food, and then be able to start having the food at 6 months of age, which is really important. We want babies to be really familiar with the feeding products that they are working with. So it's really important to do that. And then Ivy's asking, yes, does it suction to the table? Yes, all of our bowls and mats suction to the table. So even our character mats, they all suction to the table. Our play mats, they suction to the table, because again, if you're doing paints with your kids, you want this to suction. You don't want to have a big mess, right? So yes, all of our products, except for obviously the cups and the utensils, suction to the table. Okay. Oh, there's so many questions here. I'm loving all of this. I already have the tiny cup. Can you purchase just a straw with a cover to go onto it? No, we actually don't have a straw for the tiny cup. Remember, the tiny cup developmental milestones for babies are to be able to drink from an open cup held by an adult. By 12 months of age, when they turn into toddlerhood, we are really expecting that straw cup to happen. So that is a whole nother product. So that's the mini cup, the mini straw, and the mini lid. Maria says, I used to teach a special education school and drinking from a cup, and this is what we're teaching kids instead of the sippy cup. Yes, absolutely. The sippy cup and 360 cups really delay oral skills, and every 3 minutes in the United States, a child is put into the emergency room from damage from a sippy cup from some kind of accident. So they're really unsafe for your kiddos, and there's no developmental milestones for that. So we want to try to skip those if we can. There's so many questions here, and I just have a few more minutes. With the straw cup, can you as a parent or feeding therapist give it a light squeeze? You can. So what they're asking is that can you squeeze the cup a little bit and have the liquids go up? You can, but then it will also start to pop off that top. What we want to do, and why we designed it to be a short straw, is this is the way that you're actually teaching your child to be able to drink. What happens with those squeeze bottles, and I used to use those honey bears and things too in therapy, what happens is that when you squeeze, you don't know how much you're squeezing, how far that's going into your child's mouth. So it really causes kids to gag and choke and not want to drink from a straw. So you can give it a light squeeze if you want to, but I highly recommend not doing that, because that liquid will come out too far into your child's throat. And we're trying to remember to help them hold their breath while they're learning to swallow. It's called the suck, swallow, breathe synchrony. And it's a swallowing reflex that they need to be able to learn. This is that oral motor skill. So I highly recommend just letting them learn. That's why we have the training straw and then flipping that over to have the regular straw. All right, looks like we are running out of time here. So let's see, hopefully Tam's picked a winner. And I love all of your guys' questions. I wish I could get to every single one. We only have a minute left. So I just want to thank Samantha from Prego Expo. Thank Juliana for Prego Expo for having us here. Thank you so much for joining us and spending a whole hour with me and learning more about all of our different products. Have a really great rest of your day. And if there's there are questions that I didn't get to, I'll go back in after my presentation and start to answer those too. So thank you again for